Hi, this is Ron, the colorblind artist, and I've been drawing ever since I could pick up a pencil. A few years back, I decided to give painting a try. And not just any painting, I want to paint a masterpiece. So I decided to make these videos to document my journey from a beginning painter all the way to that masterpiece. Now just how far I'll go, we'll just have to wait and see. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Hello, welcome to Art with Ron. This is episode 2. Tonight I'm going to be painting some clouds. I'm going to show you an easy way to try to give your clouds some depth. But before we get to that, last week I tried to draw a German Shepherd with charcoal. However, I failed. I wasn't able to complete it in about 3 hours. But the good news is I did finish it this weekend, and I made a little video of me finishing it up. It's only about a minute long, so let me go ahead and play this for you. Okay, and here is the finished drawing. I have it right here. Let me see if I can get this up here without any glare on it for you. I think I'm going to call him Henry. I'm going to stick him right back here. He's going to watch me painting some clouds. Okay, last couple of days I've been working out in the heat. Been really hot here in Mississippi, about 95 degrees, and I am drained. Hopefully I can make it through this. Hopefully I can get this done pretty quickly. This is basic clouds. It's not going to be masterful or anything like that. But if you're struggling with clouds, you don't know how to give them depth, hopefully I could show you a little way of adding a little depth to you. Let's get our canvas over here. Now, I'm not sure how it looks on your screen, but I'm looking at my canvas here versus my screen, and it's a lot lighter on my screen. So hopefully you guys can see it pretty good. I'm still at the lowest level on my Restream services. I'm still trying to test it out, see if I want to upgrade to a bigger package. Hopefully someday soon I can have a better quality video. But all right, with that said, now the two things I want to focus on tonight, two simple things to give you clouds some depth, is values and perspective. A lot of times there's some young artists that try to do clouds. They just try to paint just something to fill the top page of the canvas up. They make it flat. They treat it like it's a backdrop, sort of like the backdrop I have here, like it's a vertical backdrop behind the trees, behind the mountains. But if you think about it, the clouds in the sky is more like a ceiling. It's over your head and it goes on down to the horizon line. All right, it has a lot of depth to it. And so one thing you can do is values, and you can see my canvas here. I got it darker on top, and as it goes down towards the horizon line, it's getting lighter. The second thing I'm going to use tonight is perspective, and I drew up a little perspective thing here. And as you can see, just with the simple lines, you can always tell. You can already tell we're looking up. Just simple lines in perspective. We flip it around the other way. It looks like we're looking down. Why? We change the perspective. Back up like this. Let me get that in focus. Okay, so we go to cloud. Just imagine each one of these squares as a cloud. The closer they are, the bigger they are, and the farther away they get down to the horizon line, they're going to get smaller and smaller. The same with the negative space around the clouds. If you got 50% clouds and 50% negative space would be just the blue sky behind the clouds. You want the same thing as you go down. 50% clouds, 50% negative space. And the farther away from you get, closer to the horizon, the smaller the clouds will be, and smaller the negative space. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started here. You can see my palette. I've already got some pre-made colors mixed up. I got some of my lighter colors. I got some of my cloud colors, and I got some value or some the shadow areas. And I got my, of course, I got my primary colors up here. So we're going to go ahead and start laying out some of these clouds. And the best thing about this, you don't need any references. As long as you follow this little technique, you're going to paint some pretty cool clouds. All right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with the bigger clouds, and I'm just going to start laying out some clouds. And the more I come down my canvas, the smaller my clouds are going to be. You want to make it, you don't want to make them uniform. You don't want like a cloud, 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 cloud. You know, the more erratic, the better. All right. So we're going to start with some bigger clouds. Another thing is, since the clouds are bigger on top, you want to use the biggest brush you have. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and use the biggest brush I have right here. This thing, I've already, I pre-painted this with some oil paints, and it's still a little tacky. But I don't want to talk about techniques about oil paints or anything like that. We're just going to go ahead and start laying down some of these clouds. Okay, I know I want a big cloud right here. Now, at first, this is going to look, hopefully it stays in focus. This is going to look like kind of a jumbled mess, but you got to stay, this is just like laying down the mapping out all these clouds. I know what I want to do. Another way of showing depth, that's not staying in focus, is it? You can go ahead and run these clouds right up off the canvas. Again, well, I wish that would stay in focus. I am sorry, people. All right, again, now you can see the clouds I got up on top are bigger, and as I go down, I'm going to make them smaller. All right, I'm going to go ahead and drop down to a smaller brush. In there. There's not going to be a whole lot of detail for a while. Now, as I come down my canvas, you want your values to change just a little bit. I want them to get a little bit lighter. And I want my clouds to get smaller. I will drop down to a smaller brush. I'm kind of getting too uniform. We need to be a little bit more. little more varied. That one's a little bit too big there. I'm just trying to get these really small clouds so it looks like they're really far away. We start picking up some detail later. I'm going to come up the canvas, get these things a little bit bigger. All right, let's get something interesting in here. Let's get one right here. Okay. Now, the good thing about oil, now some people probably seen Bob Ross, and they probably make that mistake because they try to do his style where he blends them real easy. He's got a wet canvas, it's blue, and he's got his white, and he just puts it down and starts blending it real easy. You can't do that with acrylics. And the way I have it now, I kind of layer it. This is already almost dry, so I can't use the same technique he has. All right, but all we're doing is just make it really interesting, like a different layout. Just run that one up off the thing there. Yeah, this looks too. Okay, I think that's getting there. I like this big cloud here. Now, as you can see, this darker area up here on top, and I don't even have my lighter values yet, but you can see how much of a contrast there is. All right. The more you come away or you get farther, not go down the canvas. I'm not going to say down the canvas because you're getting farther away. It's going to get, the values are going to be less and less apart. The up closer, I want them really extreme, my darkest darks against my lightest lights. And if you see, I'm not using any white right now. My white I will save to the very end. You get that little cursor off my clouds. Okay. I think that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and start laying some shadow down. Oh, another thing you got to make sure when you do these clouds, you got to know where your light source is. You don't want the light source behind the canvas looking this way. You can if that's what you want, but your clouds are going to be dark and you're going to have a light white outline around the edge of it. And that's fine too if that's what you want. But we're going to have let me get this in focus here. Our light source is going to, the sun's going to be up over here, kind of up behind you and to the right. So that means our shadow areas are going to be the bottom left. Our highlights are going to be up on the top left, or top right, I'm sorry. We're just going to slowly build these up. Shadow areas. Just kind of bounce that around. I'm going to get down my smaller brush. Also, the quicker you work, you don't have to, don't worry about it too much. Like, oh, I got this little straggler thing here, but that's fine because you take a little. I call this my little blending brush, and you can just blend that right away. You can blend it right away. And that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be starting, we're going to lay down our colors where we want them, our darks and lights, and we can just come back through here and just blend some of the stuff away. Right now, we're just getting our shadow, our shadow areas of these clouds. And the farther I get down, the less difference I want in my values. And some of them are just all in shadow down here. Just kind of bounce your brush around. Oh, that's too dark. Let's lighten that up a little bit. You can see right there, I messed, well, I didn't mess up. I just got a little bit too dark. And you can see right now, the way it pops out down here, the value's too dark. I don't want it to be like that. I want this to be so out of focus and so, you can't even see what it is because it's so far away. I don't want this difference in value right here. So we can just lighten this up right here. Light it up even more. Just re-overpaint it. Okay. There we go. That's better. Well, I'm definitely getting too dark in here. Okay. Scribble your brush around. These clouds are so far away, you can't even see them. Lighten this up. Now, when you get to this stage of it, when you start getting these clouds coming closer and closer and closer to you, and you want to start adding the detail in there, start from the bottom and then work your way up. And that way, if you lay it down, you can put a layer down, put another layer down, put another layer down, put another layer down, put another layer down. Same way when you're doing fur, you do that from the farthest point away and you work your way up. So I'm gonna just smooth some of these out because I don't want any sharp lines way back here. And I don't want a dot either for a cloud. I want these to be as random as possible. That still bothers me, that really dark area. Okay. Yeah, that's a good color. I'm sorry, good value. Just kind of whisk them out, whisk them up. You know, you don't even have to be an artist to do this. You just, if you do this technique, anybody can do this. Just take your time. And just slowly build them up. The more we come up, the bigger our clouds are going to get. We can put a little bit of shadow in that one. Kind of got some of this cloud wanting to blow away. Just soften it up. See this hard line down here? I don't want that. I want to soften that up. That's my little softening brush I got here. Nothing on it, just a dry brush. Now, the more I come up my little clouds here, the sharper my lines can be. And when I end this, I'm going to come up here. We're going to have pure white. None of this is white. I call this the yellow color. I call it my not white white. It's when I start putting the white in here. And then on top of that, I can come back into a pure white. That pure white against this really dark blue is really going to pop. It's going to give it a lot more depth. Get a little streaker in there. Again, like up here, 50% cloud, 50% sky. Same down here, 50% cloud, 50% sky. And do that all the way down so it looks uniform, but it just looks like it's going off into the distance. Oh, and it's okay if your clouds go off your canvas. You want them to. You don't want to have a blue frame around your canvas. Now, see, some of this line right here is kind of sharp, but that's fine because the closer it gets to me, the sharper I want these lines. So I'll leave some of the sharpness. As you see, I'm kind of dragging my brush horizontally like this. Don't drag it this way. I've never seen clouds go up and down. They always go side to side. I'm just kind of dragging my brush, a little bit more detail. Okay, it's looking good. Now we're going to get, once we start working on these clouds up here, we're going to get our darker areas a little bit darker. Even if I got to mix some more dark up. Random and interesting. Well, I don't know dark down there. We're going to go down here. I want to put a little bit more red in these darker areas up here. Kind of warm them up. I don't know why, but they say you always get warm shadows. I haven't figured that part out yet. All right, let me get my blending brush here. Keep some of these hard lines, and some of them got to go. Little wisp. You could do this with just blue and white if you want to, just for practice. And then you can add just a touch of black to add some gray. Step back here, okay. You can see my paint is still wet. I also see some of the blue coming through my cloud colors, this closer one, and I don't like that, so I got to put my paint on a little bit thicker. But that's fine. Okay, these sharp lines down here, I'm going to soften them up just a little bit, but I'm fine with these being a little bit sharper than the rest. Okay, step back. All right, now comes the fun part. Let's start adding some highlights. I'm going to start using my not white. Okay. A little bit thicker. And it's okay if it looks blotchy. We just got to get some paint on the canvas and we can come back in and blend it. Doesn't seem to want to stick for me. Trying to get this white on here. It's just not wanting to stick for me. I got to find the right mixture of thinner and linseed oil. I want this white really thick and I can't get it to stick. we'll get it. If I get a bigger brush, I can get some white on here. We just step back and look at it. Make some of these darker areas darker. All right, I'm happy with the bottom half of it. I still want to do some more work on that top cloud, which is fine. I need to get some lighter values up there. Let me get my bigger brush. You having trouble covering? Get a bigger brush and try linseed oil or paint thinner. It helps it flow better. I want some white right there. I can't get it off my brush. Sometimes you just got to put that paint on really, really thick. Really white. Yeah, I like that. Now let's work on these shapes. Figure out what's not working and fix it. go. Blue seems to be doing the trick. I've always noticed that the bottoms of the clouds always seem to be real soft, and the sharper edges are on top. Change the value up a little bit, make it a little bit darker down here. Yeah, yeah, I don't like this. Let me get this line out of here, soften this up. I don't know why that is, but it seems like the bottoms of the clouds are always really soft. Oh, that's a little bit too much paint. I'm gonna have to figure out why that keeps going out of focus. Some little whiskey full of clouds right there. And I want this whole top corner to be a cloud. The underbelly of a cloud. Darken this up in here. Okay. I'm trying to work from this one up to these up here is what I'm trying to do. They should be layered. Boom, boom. Looks like we need a little whisk. Looks like we're missing something right in here. I know I said to keep the big clouds up top. Sometimes you got these little breakaways here and they're just little bitty small clouds. That's there. And it might be high and it might be way off in the distance. Let's just go ahead and soften that up a little bit. I got too much paint on that brush. Let me get some off of it. Maybe the part of this cloud here is just kind of coming apart, separating. Yeah, I like that. Body, it might be catching just a little bit of sunlight. See right there. Yeah, right there. Yeah, it caught a little bit. I'm trying to build up this cloud here, these clouds here, and just work on this a little bit, and we should be about done. Like I said, I want my darker shadows darker closer up, and then lighter as they go away. So these are going to have the darkest shadows, and they're going to get lighter as they go. The highlights will be lighter, and they will get darker as they go farther away. I think that's a pretty good value. Darken this bottom up a little bit. Now it's starting to look too rigid, so I need to make it more kind of whiskey. And that all comes with practice and paint strokes. All right. Drink of water here. Sometimes you just need to step back and think about what you got to do. If we can get these top corner clouds where I want them, we will be good. I see I'm starting to do this little boop, bloop, 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 and it's kind of unnatural. So I got to kind of change it up. I don't want it to look like that. Even though I'm sure it's a possibility clouds could do that. Let's lighten up that shadow a little bit. I don't like that. I remember that a little too dark. Put a little blue in there. This is the fun part about it. Excuse me, about it. Just trying to figure things out. You don't have a reference to go by. Makes you use your imagination a little bit more. For me, I paint what looks like a cloud, and then I just fix what doesn't look like a cloud. Okay. Sometimes you just got to take a little bitty, like this area, like a little too dark in here. Come in here and kind of change it up a little bit to kind of break up that. Yeah, it looks good. All it takes is just like just a brush stroke to change things for you. This looks like that. You know what? I think I am getting, let me get some white right up here. A lot of white. I'm going to keep that top part just like it is. We're going to get some white because this is catching a lot. Actually, I've changed my mind. I think I'm going to take that whole top and make it white or lighter. See, I'm thinking about making this area completely white, but I don't want it to come down here because now I'm messing into my other cloud, and you won't be able to see any depth in there. So let me think about this a second. Figure. How about do this? We can make this the cloud. I need more white. This is the cloud here. Yeah, we're going to leave that little dark patch here. And I think I'm going to bring this sky color back over to it and kind of frame out my cloud a little bit. And I think that would, yeah, I think that's what I want to do. Let's wash this off a brush. That'll kind of give it a little interest. When I mix my colors on my palette, I just try to eyeball it as close as I can to what I want to tap into, which is right here. I'll make sure I mix up enough. But I just grab a nice clean brush. And I test it. You can see it's a little bit darker. Let's add some more white. Actually, darker probably wouldn't be a bad idea. Let's take this cloud. Cut back into it here. I don't know why. I just wanted to get some of that blue above it. Just to make it a little more interesting. Okay. Oh yeah. All right. I think we got us some clouds. What time we got here? I know last week I drug it on for about 3 hours. Oh, we only had an hour. We can do a little bit more. Okay, now, another way you can show depth is called atmospheric depth. You all heard the song, The Purple Mountain Majesty, from sea to shining sea. Well, are they really purple mountains? Well, yes and no, depending on where you're standing. When you're talking about atmospheric depth, yellow does not travel through the atmosphere very far, not as far as the other two primary colors. So when they say purple mountains, those are the mountains that are way in the background. If you see a great artist do a landscape, you'll notice that the very far mountains, they're never bright green. They're never green. They're always like blue or a purple. The reason being is because yellow doesn't travel, and you need yellow to make green. If you was to drive all the way out to the 12 miles to those mountains, the trees are going to be green, but you've lost all that atmosphere. Yellow travels, so you'll be able to see the green trees. So that's why they say purple mountains. They're the ones very far in the distance. And when you're highlighting these clouds, if the closer clouds, you want to put just a little touch yellow. I might have put a little bit too much yellow in mine, but the farther away I get, I would have no yellow down here. But you can highlight it in the clouds closer up and just add just a touch of yellow. All right. I think that's going to be enough for the day. Let's go ahead and get this. I appreciate everyone stopping by. I tried to make it a short one this week because I know I dragged it on a little bit too long last week. Hopefully I can make, somewhere between an hour, every hour or 2 hours, something like that. Let me put this up here. Next week, I don't know what I'm going to be doing. I've got a couple ideas on hand or on my mind, but I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing. But I will be here Tuesday, and I'll think of something. So hopefully I can see you on Tuesday. Everyone take care.